Hi everyone. Bit of a scorcher out today. I'm glad I'm here in my air-conditioned comfort. Anyway, I want to hitchhike a little bit on what I had said yesterday regarding logline, screenwriting, and so on. I just want to hit on the fact that, although some people find this hard to believe, of the hundreds of thousands of movies that have been made, there are really only anywhere from 7 to 10 plots. That's right, every one of those movies could be fit into one of 7 to 10. Now, I won't go into the details of why 7 to 10, except to say that if you want something from a more literary perspective, talking about Shakespeare and Faust and whatnot, then you probably want to read, although it's a big read to say the least, the 7 Basic Plots by Christopher Booker. As you can see, they're actually listed right here. And then, of course, more contemporary and probably a little more up our alley, those of us who are beginners. In this case, of course, Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. He says there are 10. There's a lot of overlap, believe me, a lot of overlap between the two of them. But I think Blake Snyder just breaks out a little more on the two that Booker calls comedy and tragedy. Anyways, the reason that I bring that up, it's very important. When you do your log line and you've got it to a point where you feel good about it, that it's about the story you want to talk about, then it's good to know what type of movie that's going to be. Because if you can tag or nail down what type of movie it is from your own log line, then one of the first steps for you, and this does help out a lot, one of the first steps for you would be to identify movies that are of that same type. And then what you want to do before maybe you start even writing your story is to watch a dozen or so more of those movies or more. Read those screenplays as well, which you'll find for sure almost always on Google anyways. That way you'll know the type of movie and you'll have a pretty good idea of all the things that maybe have to happen when and where to make it a good film as you write the screenplay, okay? That's why I say to you, important to start with the log line, then try to find the type of movie, read those movies, read the screenplays, and then start writing. It's not rocket science, and you'll find it fun as well. So, for example, in the log line I gave you yesterday, the one I'm so excited about, although I say I don't know if it'll ever be made, but it's certainly a labor of love for me, was I Want to Be a Pimp. And of course, the logline there is a 10-year-old boy sets out to prove his white grandpa's claim that he was an original Pip singing backup for Gladys Knight. I just love that thought because I've always pictured myself in the background doing the Gladys Knight Pip thing, you know. I guess that's why. But anyway, you see, so this now it's in draft form, but I knew when I wrote the logline that this was a quest. That here this boy is going to go and he's going to embark on this quest. In fact, what he does is he finds out that Gladys Knight is playing at Rama, north of Toronto, and he's going to go and he's going to ask her. So his quest is to get the truth from Gladys Knight. That's the quest. I think it's a great little plot and story, and ultimately story. So I'm hoping big things come of it, but who knows? I'll keep you posted. But there is one point about this that's quite interesting to me. Anyway, and I think I've used both words already. It's plot and story. Some people use them shall we say, interchangeably. They're not really. They are two different things. And I'm going to use this log line as an example to give you an indication of how they differ. Plot, in my book, is what happens, all right? In this case, what happens is a 10-year-old boy sets out to prove his white grandpa's claim that he was an original Pip singing backup for Gladys Knight. So that's what happens. The kid sets out on a journey, on a quest, da-da-da-da-da. So plot is what happens. Story, on the other hand, is why it happens. Now, it's not clear in this logline, nor does it have to be clear in this logline, of why it happens, what the story is. But let me share that with you. You know, a grandpa with his grandson telling stories, sometimes maybe embellishes the stories to the point where he makes claims, of which there's some truth in it, obviously. How much, we don't know. But what does the boy do? The boy goes to school, he's got black friends, he starts bragging to his black friends how his grandpa was an original backup singer to Gladys Knight, one of the Pips, right? So they call him on it. And of course, in that case, is his grandpa lying or not? He's got to prove his grandpa's truthful, and so hence the quest. So the story then becomes why it happened. It happened because the grandfather boasted, and the kid got called on it by his friends at school. So that's the difference between plot, in my opinion, and story. Plot is what happens. Story is why it happens. We tell stories, we don't tell plots. Plot is what categorizes films into the 10 different movie types, 7 to 10 different movie types. So just make sure that when you're writing your screenplay, that you know a little bit of what you're doing when you're dealing with plot, as opposed to when you're dealing with story, and try to consciously make an effort to refer correctly or use the correct word, plot or story, when you're referring to points in your screenplay. Okay, so that's about that for now. Hope to get back to you tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the next day, with a couple of other interesting tidbits. Until then, take care. Hope you have a great day. Bye.